right, welcome back. We are back to finish Heroes of the Hearth, Part 2. All right, so where we left off, we were finishing off Act 2, and we were um, discussing stuff that we found out, or rumors that we had heard about our adventurers, and we had written them letters, and we were pretty much going about our business in the village. The threat wasn't quite looming so close yet, but that will be changing very soon. All right. So this section will start with another um, round of letters. This time, the messenger returns. She looks significantly more ragged than before, but she proudly produces a parcel of letters. So, in this set of narrations, we would take turn narrating a short individual scene where where our characters would read a letter from or write a letter to one of the adventurers, and it does not have to be the one mentioned in, associated with us. If we received a letter, we also may choose to receive a gift from our adventurer to integrate into future scenes. Okay. And if you don't wish to read or write a letter for any reason, you just want to narrate a brief scene displaying your thoughts around it. Okay? So, if anybody has any ideas, you can just go ahead and jump in with your letter or
Yeah.
letters.
I have an idea for just like the this one I've been thinking about, and we can talk about like the other ideas for letters we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
So just for a letter that Quin receives from his brother, the paladin Corbert. This letter comes with like a very like a package. That's like very like a very elongated like parcel, and the letter is written in, I want to say, Corbett surprisingly has very nice handwriting for whatever reason.
It's
Um,
part of the training, I'm sure.
yeah, he's just like, if it's like a physical task, he's just naturally good at it. Um, and but the message is a bit dire. It goes, brother, I would be lying to you if I said that everything can be handled by the adventurers we have right now. I can only do so much against, and there's like a pause where like the tone kind of changes. Like he thought about it as he was writing. I was like, okay, but brother, I know you have always said that you wanted to stay in the village, and I've always respected your choice and have never really pushed the issue, mostly because I knew I was the one who really loved going out and adventuring with everyone. But we really could use you out here, Quin. It's not just because I'm your brother. I truly believe you can turn the tides for some of the battles we are having. Please think about it. I have sent something along to show you how serious this is. But don't worry, I found an all right replacement while I've been out here. And Quinn opens a package, and it's Corbert's spear. Um, and Quinn like just stares at it and kind of just like has like a gosh, like fudge look on his face as he opens it up. And yeah, that's Corbert's letter to Quin.
I can go next if you like. Adair writes again a short, brief note to name's Kane. She kind of doesn't expect to get necessarily to get anything back, but she kind of trusts that he's receiving these things, and she starts off, Kane, I hope you're keeping safe. We get so little news here that it's hard to know what to make of what is going on. But when you return, I have wonderful news. Come back soon.
Kailan will get a letter back from Rayna. And in it, has bird-like scribbles when she writes, especially when she's agitated. And the letter is reflecting her mood when she's writing it. And she's saying, Dear sister, I don't know how to tell you this, but I let someone down today. And I don't know why it happened. You were always so good at taking care of others, and the volume of people that were in our village. It was impressive. Never, ever doubt that fact. And seeing the volume of people here increasing day by day, it's just enough to be able to heal my companions in the heat of battle, never mind waiting until they make it back to the camp. And I let Kane down today. He should not have fallen. He should not have been injured. My magic stopped working. Something happened where I was at the point of exhaustion, and I could not raise one more iota of energy. I called out to our god, and it was almost like he could not hear me. I don't know what this means. I've been experiencing issues here, and I hope that they have not affected you in any way. Take care of yourself, sister. There might be a chance that we will not see each other again. And she scribbles her name hurriedly on the page, and that's the end of the letter.
And what was the idea again, Mads? Like, I get a letter from with Rayna.
Yeah, you would get a letter from Rayna.
Mm-hmm.
Adair would get a letter from Rayna apologizing.
That's fine.
Yeah. And then Kailan would get a letter from Corbert, of all people.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay.
And it's almost as if, like, the gods of mischief were having a had it, because we read these bleaker letters first.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, when we get, like, another part of the parcel or whatever, then we see these other letters.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
You want to go ahead and do that? I mean,
yeah.
it's fine if you don't want to, but
Yeah, no. I have an idea.
Okay, go ahead.
Um,
Or do you want me to start? I don't care.
yeah, you can start this time. Yeah.
Okay, so after reading her sister's missives, I mean, she's very pensive and she's just going through the chapel, doing her normal routine, and she's leaning heavily on this staff now. And she tries to hide it as best as possible from Quin and Adair. But in the chapel, she's fairly much by herself, and the acolytes don't pay any mind, or they know not to pay any mind. And the messenger comes back and realizes that she had left something deep in her pack and pulls out the letter addressed to her. And Kailan looks at it because she sort of remembers this handwriting and is just, why? Corbert? What? And she tears it open. And inside, as if it's written in a different time altogether, which it might have been if it was down in the bottom of the pack. It's brighter, it's in its full-fledged, bold, neat hand. Ugh. And she's reading this missive and getting a really irritated and horrified look on her face. She reads it out loud to herself. It's like, Dear Kailan, I have wonderful news for you. I have asked your sister to marry me. And she said yes. And she kind of like turns away from the letter and goes, What? That idiot! And then she continues to read. Just want to let you know that when we return to the village, I will greet my sister with open arms and be pleased to give her a sibling-like kiss at the ceremony. Oh, and she crumples it up and throws it into the corner. And leans more heavily onto the staff.
Rob, if you're gonna get one from Rayna, do you mind if I get one from Kane? I might have an idea.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Please do.
So, Rob, would you say that Kane, like, is his general disposition just like the classically, like, gruff, just barbarian guy? Like, how does he act normally around Adair, out of curiosity?
Yeah, I think on the surface, that's what he is. Certainly like a man of few words. But I also think he has kind of made our village his home. So he's, he takes his responsibility seriously in terms of, what he has to do, what he provides. And in terms of kind of taking an active role in the community. So, that's something he's mindful of. But yeah, to the initial observation, your first reaction to him would certainly be that, oh, this very classic, big gruff.
Yeah. Then the letter. So Quin reads the letter from Corbert. Then is surprised when he gets a letter from Kane. And It goes, Quin, we both know why you are getting this letter right now. I have fallen in battle recently, and we both made that promise all that time ago. You told me that it may have been a bet over drinks, but you said that if I ever fall in battle, you will follow us. Correct? That was a promise you made. We both said no takebacks, and that is something I take very seriously. So, I expect you to arrive very soon. And you know I tried really hard to not fall. Rayna tried really hard to keep me from falling. And Corbert was there to take some of the hits. But it just happened. We weren't enough. Also, is Adair okay? And there isn't a lot of supply out here right now with all the fighting. So let her know that that this quarter's profits may not be as lucrative as other times. Also let her know that I still think she's pretty and that I want to get back soon. End of letter. Kane. And then as a last thing, because I think Corbett may have forgotten to like tell Quin in his letter, or maybe it was from like another time and he didn't have time. But we see at first Quin is just like really stressed out by this whole situation right now. And he just like ends up like staring at the spear for a while, but something about it has changed. Rayna's name is now like carved into the blade of it, and Quin just begins to like laugh because like he's so stressed out that at least this will be it's some good, and it's also really funny. And yeah, the scene ends there.
So again, the messenger had forgotten about some of the letters deep in her pack and sees Adair's name on one of them and will bring it by. And Adair, you know the differences between our handwriting between Kailan and Rayna. So, I mean, the bird-like scribble of your name on the envelope is already a tell. So, you receive this, and inside is a short note, and it looks crinkled as if it was wet, possibly by tears. And it starts with, "Dear Adair, I am so very sorry. I tried to heal your husband as best as I could on the battlefield, away at camp. But there was just this one battle where I could not keep up. He and Corbett were on the front, suffering the most wounds. I did my best. I called upon my God. and tried to keep them safe. And I failed. Kane was, of course, the more agile, but he could not avoid everything. And I really tried to keep him safe. With protection, with healing. It wasn't enough. And if we don't come back from this, I am so very, very sorry. He loves you very much. And we hope to be back soon. But again, I am sorry, Adair, if I have failed you. Rayna.
And after Adair's done reading this, we see her just kind of turning it over and over, rereading it, almost as if she's looking for something that was missing. And she goes running out of her house, looking for the messenger. But I think by that point it's too late and they're gone. She can't catch up with them. Question of timing here. How long has now passed? I guess we're going into Act 3 now.
We are going
And how
into
long?
Act 3. Mm-hmm.
How long has passed at that point since they left?
It says here that 1 month has passed since we last heard of news of our loved ones. So that's that. So probably like one. Oh yeah, each act is a month based on the. So
Mhm.
so at least 2 months going on to 3.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So 1 month has passed since we last heard news of our loved ones. We have received news that our village is shortly to be attacked by the threat. We enter into Act 3. So, each player should provide one detail of how their character is responding to the threat. Some examples are preparing an escape route, training the children for battle, leading the village in prayers. And, of course, as with other acts, we are going to take turns framing scenes for our character and others, or one other. And we should, again, introduce the location and the characters present. And this is the act where, if you have not felt that you've found an answer to your question, this should be the place to do so. And the scene ends when the player who framed it decides it has reached a conclusion. All right?
I think for Quin, and like a slight interpretation of responding to the threat, the Radabaz riches and sundries is looking the most immaculate it has been in years. It seems like Quin has gone into like overdrive in like upkeep, maintenance. Whenever you visit in there, all the shelves are like reorganized every couple of days, as he just like organizes it one way, thinks about it, hates it, reorganizes everything again. And each time is not really an improvement. It's just like a different version of like really good. It's just like a preference thing at that point. Um, like, um, and then so there's that. But also, I think over as time passes, the general store closes like a little earlier and earlier and earlier. And everyone just kind of just sees Quin when the store closes, trying to just go on a walk outside the village. Looks like just very deep in thought.
I think that, yes, not only is Kailan ministering to, again, more refugees, or like, more than we can count these days. Not only is she ministering to them and trying to help provide with the stores from Quin's inventory, but also spiritually. I mean, she's also trying to keep it together herself. I mean, she does her duties. I mean, she's given a lot of things to the acolytes now. She's not active except in the most complex of any rituals. And she's been trying to stay in touch with Quin and Adair, but it is becoming more difficult to hide what has been going on. Pain in her sides increased, and she does look like she depends on the walking stick now to get around. And her face is very, not gaunt, but just very, well, like wan and tired looking. And it looks like she hasn't slept, even though she has.
We see her Adair again down by the docks. And she is negotiating with a crew on one of the barges. And at a certain point she pulls a pouch of coins out from her robe and hands it over and says, please take this. I will give you half, but take the rest to the place we discussed. I will need it when I come. Without this is all I have. Please understand, without this I have nothing. And if you choose to, I have no choice but to trust you. And if you choose to cheat me, it is not just me you will be dooming.
I think Kailan will, as she's leaving more for the acolytes to do, and actually considering on raising a few of them to full clerichood, she makes her way to around the town as best as she could. I mean, still trying to do some rounds, like for the people that can't get around, like she still can at this point. And I think as she's making these travels, I think she will do it around the time that Quin has closed the store early, and she follows him into the forest where he goes on a walk. And she sees how far he goes. If it's beyond the sight of the village, then she will hail him. Quin! Quin!
I think as you hail Quin, you try to when you realize that he is about to leave. I mean, go a little further away from the village. You look up and he's not there when you look up, and then when you call for him, and then you just feel a poke on your shoulder. Just go hey. So you were following me for quite a while there.
Did I lose track of you? How did you do that?
It's not that difficult to leave your field of vision when you are not at your best. Have me and Adair waited long enough before inquiring about what you're going through? I've kind of just been waiting for you to bring it up, but eventually I have to ask.
She closes her eyes and will not look at you when she opens them back up again. She will instead look to see if there's any kind of rock or if there's any kind of tree stump or log to sit on. And she stomps over with leaning on her stick.
Yeah.
And she sits down. Do you remember several months ago when it was ridiculous? Several months ago, before they left, and Adair nearly had that accident. I mean, it looked like I had accidentally pushed her, and she fell, and she almost fell onto those, I can't even remember what it was. It was outcroppings, something sticking out from the dock. And this is when she looks up at you, Quin. Well, she did. She had fallen on them. I think she had been knocked unconscious, so she didn't know that it had happened. And when I got to her, I saw that she was bleeding, and she was bleeding out. There were all those wounds. I had to do something, and I had to do something quickly. I asked my god of a boon to save Adair. I asked for a boon, and I can only do that once in my lifetime. And what I gave up was my own health. It's been wearing on me. I mean, it's not going to happen all at once. But what could have killed her is, well, I guess, slowly wearing me down. And I can still heal, but I cannot heal myself.
I think
Are you going to tell her?
um I think you ask that and you like look towards Quinn, and he was just kind of listening quietly, nods. Um he's not like 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 sobbing or anything, but like he does, after hearing one of his like close friends, it has been, there's like a confirmation of like his worst fears. There's like a like just tears are coming down. Just like takes like a deep breath. This goes, I mean, no. Um, you once saved my life, and since then I've kind of just decided to just try to respect your wishes as much as I could. Felt only fair to do so after I didn't pass that day. I'm not gonna say that I'm not that that I don't wish that you did that, because it's like that's what you do. It's that's yeah. So like you, um, so I can't really be mad that you did that, but it's still sad to know that you've been, you know, going like through this.
What was I going to say?
Yeah.
I gave up something for someone else.
Yeah. And well, that's what people should do, right? If he like looks far away, it's like if you have talent for something, if you're good at something, you should be using those skills to help others. And you've just always have done that. Um, why did you follow me today? Um, I expected it at some point, but still, I just wondering.
She's staying on the log and staying silent and looking away from you. I don't think they're coming back.
Yeah, and things aren't getting better. And Quin, and he goes, it's like, give me like 1 second. Quin like walks away, goes into the woods for a bit, comes back with like a large sack, and drops it, just puts it at your feet, and he just opens it, and it's like a mix of things. One, just like broken weapons, spears, swords, staffs. A lot of them you recognize from like when Quin first was just like restocking the place. But also mixed in are like basically like monster traps, like large fangs, claws, so many different things. And Quin just goes, they're getting really close. More and more kind of show up at a much more frequent pace. Eventually, I will have to get the village involved pretty soon, I think.
Do you think we're going to have to evacuate?
That would be really nice. But some of them I had to engage in the rivers around here, so it might be difficult.
We need to let them know.
Yeah.
We need to let them know
Yeah.
immediately.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. I mean, I suspected that you were practicing. I didn't realize this much. Were you going to follow them?
Who? Like everyone? Them? Like Rayna and them?
Yes.
I don't want to. No, I don't want to have to. But the the world seems to be like,
Coming ever closer.
yeah, like just really forcing my hand.
Maybe you won't have to go to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we can close it out on that note.
Yeah.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Rob, how do you think is the business that Quin and Adair kind of like are partnered in? Like, how has that changed recently?
I think supply has been drying up and demand has been increasing. People are getting desperate and want some reassurance. But at the same time, fewer barges are coming through the town. A lot of them maybe have been waylaid, commandeered by various forces, and yeah, if the fighting's moving in this direction, there's definitely less trade going on, and what there is going on is expensive and riskier.
Yeah. So think we, for like a scene, I'd like the idea that the general store is like basically like the money laundering part of this like operation. And we see Quin and Adair in like the basement, where like the secret basement. Like we see like the camera like go into the store, and then there's like this shrine to Radaba, and then it goes underneath the shrine where we are. And do you think it is empty because we don't get any more items, or do you think it's full right now because we can't make any sales?
The former, we can't get the stock.
Yeah, so it's just empty. Maybe like a couple boxes. And Quin just goes, so what's the plan? It's pretty tough to be in business when our supply isn't stocked. Yeah.
Quin, I don't quite know how to tell you this, but I'm going to have to leave.
Quin, very similarly to getting like really like terrible news, just like stays calm and just like asks like, okay.
If the fighting comes close to us, I don't want to be here when that happens. I've already arranged to send some money, and I can only hope that it will be there when I need it.
And Quin.
And you, Quin?
Quin pulls up one of the boxes and just like sits down. Just looks like exhausted. And he goes, Corbert really was as much of an ass he could be. Between the two of us, he really was the hero of the family. Because I know that if he were here right now, for sure, knowing that the village was in danger, he would stay, no hesitation. He would brag about staying, but he would stay, no hesitation. But right now, all I can think about is I feel so relieved that you said you're gonna go. Like, you know, that thing of like when we were kids and we were thinking about like sneaking out at night, and we were all just like not sure whether we should do it, but then like one person goes like, hey, I'm for sure gonna do it, and it makes it a lot easier to do that. It's kind of similar to right now, because all I'm thinking about is just getting you and Kailan out of here safely, but it's not the right thing to say, right? It's not what a hero would do, right? And that's what everyone wants to be in this world, a hero, right?
There are many ways to be a hero, Quin. You can't fight them on your own. If soldiers come here, you can't fight them on your own. That wouldn't be heroic.
Did Kane ever? I know I told him not to tell you, but did he ever mention how he has never beaten me in a fight before?
And Adair just looks confused and surprised.
Dang.
You and he fought?
Not like because he was angry at me or anything, just he liked the challenge of fighting me.
Well, I witnessed firsthand how capable you are,
Yeah.
but I had no idea that this was something you'd been hiding for so long.
When someone shows that they are capable, everyone expects them to go out there, go on adventures. But I just wanted to work at the store. All I wanted. I love alphabetizing everything over and over. Feels so nice. I don't like it, doesn't feel like a chore to me. The thing that always feels like a chore is when I've helped the gang with like nearby things. I gave them kind of like an estimate of like how far I would be willing to leave the village. And I always had to be back before the store opens and make sure whatever the plan was, like it would happen after the store closed. That was the agreement. But
I
so
remember.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, just that's all.
Yeah.
So
Shouldn't someone like that stay, see that, make that final stand for the village, like in all the stories?
stories are just that, just stories, Quin. What use is a final stand if there's no one to stand beside you to give you a chance? Somehow, we need to talk Kailan into coming with us. She will not want to.
Yeah. That's been thinking about it, how for us to convince her to come. You are her best friend. You have the best shot, and I don't feel comfortable asking this, but and he kind of like looks up more seriously. It's like she isn't that strong right now, physically. Do you think she'd ever forgive us if we just took her away?
Honestly, Quin, if she's alive and doesn't forgive us, that's better than if she's dead.
Quin thinks back to like what Kailan confessed to him, and he just goes, "Fuck, you guys really are best friends." And yeah, I think that's a good place to end the scene.
The next section is very short. It's essentially labeled no letters.
Mhm.
This time, the messenger never comes. All main routes are cut off. Whether the village is ready or not, the threat is upon us. Before we get to the next section, which is the climax and out of character, so full of math. Or actually, we haven't actually finished
Yeah.
Act 3 yet. Sorry. So we will finish Act 3. No letters happens, and then we will break before the climax. But let's just do the strength and weakness for Act 3 really quick, and take a look at how we think we did. Holy crap! Okay, let's start with Adair.
Yeah.
God.
I think just for the part of just like seeing Adair, like, so like before it felt like Adair was a bit more like passive. She was just doing things like her normal day to day, like helping out her friends. But this time she was like making like active moves, preparing for the worst. So in that sense, I would give her a strength.
I would give her strong as well, because overall, it's really not about the land, it's about the people that make up the village, make up the town, whatever it is. And she's out for survival. And so, she's making good her resources and her time towards, well, making a life elsewhere. I mean, it'll just be wherever she is.
Yeah.
So, definitely strong. You're muted. So was I.
Just realized, sorry. Yeah.
Oh, sound went out and you're stuck? Go ahead,
Am I
Don.
back?
Yes. Okay.
Okay, good. Yeah, no, I was just saying that in this section we saw her at her most desperate and vulnerable.
Yeah.
And the plans she's making are not the most solidly grounded plans. They are kind of just, a last resort.
Quin?
I just for the part of it where Quin just like was really just like paralyzed and like what to choose. He literally was like stress organizing for like for the first part of it. And just like not knowing what he should do. For that part, I'll give him a week.
It's a hard one. I think just for I'm going to give him a strong, just for the fact that he was organized and he was coping emotionally. If everyone's desperate, everyone's worried about this, but he was organizing and thinking about what his responsibilities were and not losing his cool.
Again, I agree with Rob. It's like, it's hard because, I mean, he did have, I guess, an agreement, a pact of some sort, and it feels like he kind of reneged on it, but he is also staying true to himself, that he's staying in the village for that time being and trying to get things ready to go and still protecting and still, you know, trying to deal with what was coming in his own way. So I do want to say strong. I mean, like, I didn't quite see anything really what would be considered weak in terms of, you know, not fulfilling himself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, even even though it's like we're such a secretive bunch, I mean, you know, he's pretty straightforward. So yeah, definitely strong. So
I feel like Kailan deserves at least one strong for like sacrificing her life for her best friend. Like at the very least for that, she deserves a strong.
Yeah, I think I'm also going to go strong because out of all of us, I think she's the one that is not going to be swayed from kind of the right thing to do, no matter what.
strength and weakness, it's all relative, right? Um, I want to give her weak, but the reasoning behind it doesn't make any sense. It's because it is the path of least resistance.
Mm.
She's going to do right because it is the thing that is prescribed to do. And
Mm-hmm.
she is still looking out for the community, still nurturing the village and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, it's again, path of least resistance. She's not making any hard stands to really running away necessarily. I mean, maybe if there was a concerted effort to evacuate everybody, maybe she would go along just to make sure that they're spiritually protected and healed. But aside from that, I don't think she's going to leave where we may need the most help. So, again, just weak in that respect. All right. So, we'll worry about the math after we take our break. So, I'm calling it for 10 minutes, which would be the 25 mark on my clock. All right. So, I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording, and then we're going to go ahead and take the break. All right. So, left off, no letters. Village is ready, maybe not, and the threat is upon us. So for the climax. It has been 3 months since our loved ones left on their journey to defeat the threat. That this threat is now upon our village is evidence enough that they are with us no more. How are we to survive this? Now, climax involves math. Out of character. So all players would end up tallying their strength and weakness points, and then each category would be divided by the number of players. rounding up or down to the nearest digit. This breakdown is representative of the positive and negative outcomes for the characters within this climax section, okay? So each point of strength is a positive event that happens, and then every point of weakness is a negative event, which, just like strength and weakness, is all relative, like what you consider being such. And these, when it breaks down to it, is also helping to determine what happens to the village. So when we've seen how many strength points each player has, we kind of take that as a whole. And if more players have a majority of strength points, the attackers are only one part of the threat and do not include the leader. So the fate of the leader and the adventurers is unknown, and characters have a greater chance of survival and may emerge victorious. So, doing pretty good. Basically, when we did the math during the break, it turns out that like Adair has 3 positive events and 1 negative, and Quin and Kailan each have 2 positive events and 1 negative. What that means for each character is that for the climax, we are going to be doing quick narrations, like short, snappy events for each of the points accordingly, and just kind of say what happens to narrate one event that occurs to their character when the threat reaches the village. Again, Adair would start with 3 positive things that happen and then 1 negative. And these events could include your character, could include other PCs, like kind of like in the periphery, any other village-based person or enemy bit part character. What it should not include is any of the adventurers who, at this point, we have no idea what happened to them. Okay? Yeah. So, again, short, snappy things that happen, not interactive scenes. Okay, so...
Mm-hmm. Do you want to do it like each of us does all our scenes, or do you want to do like round robin kind of?
Yeah, we should probably round robin out.
Yeah, round robin's easier because then it's like, we can kind of like mark off, like, okay, did you do a strength one? Did you do did you do a positive one, or did you do a negative one? So yeah, like one event each, and then just round robin it out. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
The person with the most strength points would start, and that would mean you, Rob, for a
Okay.
dare.
And I can start with either, right?
Yeah, you can start with either. Yep.
I think we start by seeing Adair brewing herself some tea and just fortifying herself ready for what is to come. And checking in on Kailan. So she's volunteering to help Kailan out in whatever way she can while she still has time. So I think that's the first positive event. And yeah, I think we can see her taking some kind of jug or container of tea to where Kailan is helping various people, refugees or people preparing to evacuate.
Kailan will, and again, very heavily rely on her walking stick now, which shows the wear and tear even after just a few months because of the use. And she just goes round to each of the groups, just making sure that like everybody's ministered to appropriately. If like they need any minor healing or anything like that, then this is where they can come and get it. And she's helping other villagers kind of get packs together. I mean, not that they have to do too much because Quin's already taken care of that in his own way. But I mean, like anything that needs to be added or changed out depending on who is getting ready to leave. She's helping that, and then she's very welcoming when Adair comes to help. Yeah.
Get, yeah, for my negative scene, yeah, it'll just be Quin. We see him at the door of the general store. Takes a deep sigh and then turns the like open sign to closed for the last time. Then he turns around and we see that the whole general store is empty. And he walks through it, walks down to the secret basement, also empty. Goes to the back, like just like touches across like the empty shelves there, and then like walks up to like the small, basically like medieval like apartment that him and his brother shared, and he goes to this like chest, takes a deep sigh, and like opens the latch. And yeah, that would be the scene.
I think this is sorry, just point of order here. This is including like the time where the threat actually arrives, right?
Yes, it can
Okay.
include that. But I mean, like, it could be
Okay, yeah.
completely out of order as well. I mean, it doesn't have to be like,
Mm.
Yeah, and it could just be like environmental scenes of like the threat showing up and stuff. It says here like it could be their own character, other PCs, or village based bits of the character. Yeah.
Yeah, we see this will be the negative event. We see smoke on the horizon, and there's even maybe the faint sound of kind of marching and the jingling of horses' harnesses and the clashing of weapons, and Adair is at the docks, and there are just no barges there. There's nobody. She's looking desperately. She has a bundle with her belongings, whatever she can carry. Yeah, and I think she's just kind of hugging herself and crying as hope begins to, her hope of escape begins to leave.
I think at some point when Quin is around or stops by or something, and Kailan is in between ministering or providing or healing, any of that, I think she brings him into the back of like the chapel to just have a quiet word and she will make a small admission. And the camera sort of sees her back and then Quin's expression beyond it. And there is a slight expression of surprise as Kailan leans on her staff with one hand as best as she can, and then with her other hand reaches up and gives Quin a kiss.
I think for one of my positive events, we go back. We're still like maybe like a couple moments have passed since Kailan kissed Quin, and they're now just like sitting at like probably like a step near the altar, and Kailan is just like on Quin's shoulder, leaning on it, like passed out, maybe like more so than that. And then we see Quin not really wearing like heavy armor. That was more Corbert's thing, but he does have this like very like well fitted like leathers with some more like with just a bare minimum of like protective like plates where they need to be. And he talks to Kailan, not really expecting a response, and just says something like, I really hate that my brother knew my exact size. Then he looks up and goes, fine, 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 fine. Yeah. Okay. I get it. Fine. Just help me out here. And he just gives Kailan like just like a small kiss on the forehead. And there is like a slight glow about it. Maybe there's just like an intake of like a very weak breath from Kailan. And then Quin just picks her up, like piggyback style, I think. Because I'm pretty sure he knows Kailan doesn't want to be like lifted just like an any old like fairy tale princess. That would be embarrassing. And will make his way to the docks, like, and we see from like the open door of the church that the village is like in full danger right now.
When next we see Adair, she's in the street of the village, and there are some buildings that are on fire, people rushing around, and she runs toward Quin's store, and inside and pushes the door closed behind her, and then clambers down into the basement where Quin's kind of the secretive, illicit side of his operation has run out of, and takes shelter, hoping that whatever's going on above her will not find her. And she kind of digs her way down into a corner. She has some food, she has some water, she has a blanket. She's about as safe as she can be.
Question. Do we think that the attackers are using mundane means to overrun the village, like regular weapons, and then, like, trying to burn out the buildings and such? Or are we thinking there's like some magic going on as well?
In my head, I was picturing, because it started with like a giant portal, that it's like the classic, like portals are opening up around the village and horrible things are coming out of them.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just trying to think of like how negative I want to make this negative that I have left. Shoot. Somebody else go.
Yeah, I can go real fast. I have an
Okay.
idea. I think we see Adair hunkered down in the cellar underneath. And then for my last positive scene, we see her like fall backwards as the wall behind her opens up, and you see, I think you just see Quin there for now, just so we can leave like where Kailan is, like to Mads at the end. But uh Quin just like puts a hand out to her, and she goes, okay, I had one like last secret. Do you want to get out of here?
Of course.
And then we see them grab each other's hands. Quin pulls her up, and I think the scene ends there as they go into this um, escape route that Quin seems to have prepared.
You're muted, man.
You're still muted? There we go.
Ye gods. Okay. Sorry. I think for the negative event that Kailan is safe where Quin left her. But I mean, it's not that far from the store because I mean the like Rodabuzz is not going to be that far from being loaded and unloaded, for goods. And she watches in horror because she can't do anything about it. She's feeling very weak at this point. And all she can do is like huddle in her space, watching these sudden portals spring at the sides of buildings or in front of someone who's running away from something else, and then things coming out of them and just grabbing, and then the portal recedes again, and her eyes are lit up with the fires and the energy from the portals, and just wide and horrified.
And I think for the final positive event for Adair, we see her and Quin on a hillside, a wooded hillside above the town, looking down. And there is smoke and there is flame and there are people rushing around. But it looks like there is some resistance to the things that are spawning forth from these portals and that have set the village ablaze. There are people fighting back. It looks like some soldiers were able to reach the area or intercept this attack. And yeah, Adair and Quin just stand there at the edge of the tree line looking down.
I just have one question. Sorry, real quick.
Go ahead. Yeah.
In this scene, is Kailan conscious or unconscious? Because that tells us whether or not she came with us willingly.
I was going to ask the same thing. Yeah.
I'm going to say unconscious. Yeah, unconscious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think as we all look at the village we grew up in, Quin will just turn to Adair and go, when Kailan wakes up, do you think it's going to be as bad or worse than that time Corbert convinced Rayna to have some of our stock that one time?
Well, I'm sure she'll be angry with us, but there's part of her that will understand. And besides, I have something to tell her that will ensure she will at least not hit me.
I mean, I've been choosing not to avoid her hits for years. So what's another view?
And yeah, there's a ghost of a smile on Adair's face.
And with that, we reach when the smoke clears. Once all events have been resolved, players may each offer one statement to describe the state of the village when the threat has either been defeated or moved on. They may choose to mention dead or living, bit part characters, buildings, or the countryside around the village. If they wish for the adventurers to return, this is also permissible. The only rule is that no player characters may be present at this juncture, because they'll be included in the epilogue afterwards.
I'm going to throw out there that, yeah, we see riding over the hill Rayna at the head of a column of troops. And she's kind of, although it looks like she's struggling, she's in pain, there's a radiance there. And soldiers and this unit of cavalry is following her, and has just a determined expression on her face. I'll leave it up to the other two whether anyone else has returned.
I think for my when the smoke clears, what we see is just the remains of the general store. It is mostly just broken wood and broken glass from jars thrown about, and I think the last thing we see of it is just a probably, yeah, just like a mundane drawing of Corbert, Quin, Rayna, and Kailan, as kids.
I think towards the rear of this battalion or militia, I think we see a very scruffy, grizzled figure with bandages on his head in like a diagonal pattern, one to cover an eye that looks like it's been bloodied, and then he's not wearing any of his usual hide armor or fur or whatever. Like his whole top, chest and rib area is like bandaged up for the most part, covered up as best as he can with like a cloak, but I mean, again, just wrapped up as best as possible with stains of wounds that he's sustained. And he's gingerly riding a horse, one of the big, heavier battle horses that they have. And next to him, helping to keep the horse steady, is Corbert. A lot more serious now, not as much of a spectacle as he would normally be in the beginning of a battle. All of his armor is well worn and very used, showing the wear and tear of what they went through. All the different claw marks, all the different blood of these creatures. And his look is of pensive seriousness. No arrogance, no condescension left. And he also carries scars on his face and on his arms, anything that's exposed. And he rides, helping his friend and looking towards his leader with a contented smile on his face. And we reach Epilogue. Each player now has the opportunity in any order to narrate a short epilogue for themselves. It can include the character as survivor in the village, or reminiscing any way you want.
We see Adair in her kitchen living area. It's somewhat damaged, but it's, in not much worse state than it was. And she's brewing tea, and this must be some time later, because on her knee is a baby. And I don't think Kane is there, but he has been there. He's off somewhere. But yeah, and as the camera kind of moves out of the house, we see kind of life going on, rebuilding happening.
To echo the first scene with Quin, we have a very similar scene, but instead of a general store, we first still see him wearing the armor his brother got for him, and you can see that there's a bit more wear and tear on it, because more time has passed. And this time he is organizing bottles, organizing rations, but it's on like the back of a wagon instead. Smaller space, but it's feels like just like the food truck version of Rabadon's Riches and Sundries in a way. And he's kind of enthralled by cleaning up, and then from like behind him we just see someone like kick him in the back of the knees, and we just see Corbert go, "Why do you always, it's fine, everything, it's fine where things were, come on." And Quin rolls his eyes and walks out with him. We see Corbert is left-handed, Quin is right-handed, and they like mirror like a flourish with their spears. And Corbett goes, I'm still and you still haven't ever beaten me in a fight. And then they like rush towards the sound of battle.
Now, is this outside of the village, or is this like just somewhere, anywhere?
It's probably outside the village, somewhere. I think maybe the threat is a bit big still, that it's still like out there. Maybe we hear in the distance like the boom boom of like portals opening up, you know?
Right. I think nearby, it's like the camera will pan to someplace nearby, and both Rayna and Kailan are there tending to like a camp of sorts, and like have ministrations ready, and the bandages, or like, you know, the rituals for healing ready to go. And they just look at each other and sigh, and Kailan will go, and they're at it again. And Rayna will straighten up in her own outfit, which is a little bit more armored than her sister's. And there is that radiance still. And she will look down at Kailan tending to the fires and the rituals. And she'll say, "And we love them for it. Welcoming them back with open arms." And when she says open arms, and she basically whips out one hand a mace and the other hand a sword. And she laughs. And that's the close. That's the end of Heroes of the Hearth. At least our version. Stars? Wishes?
Yeah, that was super fun. It was very different from the first time like we
Very
played it. Yeah.
Yes.
Star for like just the overall dynamic, because it was very like Quin was the one with talent but didn't want to like use it. Kailan was like, I have this talent. I was put in this world for one purpose, for like my purpose, and then just like followed through. And there was like no hesitation there. So that was like a good um dynamic, especially at the end when like they like their ship fully sailed at the end. And then there was like Adair, who just felt like the person in between, who was the one that was really like a bit of like a catalyst for the other two characters. Like she was the one that like pushed them into like doing stuff in like a very like more subtle way, especially at the end where it's like basically Adair like set off like the plan to like leave. And that was really the dynamic. And yeah, I think yeah. Wishes. Um as like a very weird thing. Like throughout like the game, I was like giving D&D levels to all the characters. So I was like, yeah, Quin is like mostly fighter, but like with one paladin because he needed to heal. Corbert was like fully a paladin straight up. We got some clerics. One was like a more battle centric one, a barbarian, a rogue. Um, and just like seeing, I don't know, it's like a good setup for like the next bit of the story, like the more like action packed part. So that's in, so that, I guess that's like a slight like wish, but like mostly just like a headcanon-y wish in a way.
You know,
I think if we're going that
pull it
route,
off.
Adair is like a druid slash rogue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, like, you know, Kane can like barbarian ranger himself up.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
mean, like, you know, it is still possible.
Yeah.
It's just, it's like, you know, again, the companion piece, which would be playing Venture to this.
Mm-hmm.
So if that is truly a wish, conceivably it can happen.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so stars for these characters, my God. I mean, well, one, star for, thank God, breaking it up into two shot, because this is
Mm-hmm.
no way we would have been able to try to fit this into 4 hours again.
Mm-hmm.
Not even by, you know, forcible shoehorning. It wasn't going to be possible. I liked the fact that this got a chance to breathe. I liked the fact that we got a chance to just like let things happen and not have to worry about, oh my God, it's like it's coming up on the end time, shoot, and then getting everything done. I mean, this has a lot of stuff packed into it that you can develop more, you can expand into. I mean, we could have done more scenes on every single one of the acts, but
Mm-hmm.
again, you know, keeping it the way it was is good. But I mean, even squeezing it into a one shot would seem pretty pretty tough. Um, and again, stars for the characters, because I mean, like, I didn't know what to expect. I feel like we started one way and really went in a different direction for each one. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's partly because when you split things up into a two shot, you may or may not remember what you did before, so you kind of like just kind of pivot. Um, so that was helpful, I think, in a good way for the characters. Um, Specific things, I mean, I just love the fact that themes seem to almost be like secrets, hiding things from each other.
Yeah, but it was like in a very
Yeah,
lovingly kind of way, yeah,
yeah,
which is really like a good change up.
yeah,
Yeah, it
Um,
was funny because I was initially imagining there would be like some conflict between Adair and Kailan. But then
mhm.
when Mads chose the bond of like, oh, she's my best friend, so okay, that changes the dynamic in a really
Yeah,
interesting way. Yeah.
yeah,
yeah, yeah. As someone who's like very recently was playing a lot of like the between, it was fun to see like 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 positive secrets in a way instead
yeah.
of just like the usual
Oh shit, we're broken.
like betweeny sort of
Mm-hmm.
secrets. Yeah, it was a good
Yes.
like turn
Yeah,
for it. Hmm.
yeah. No, I mean, and I honestly don't think I would have come up with the little twist that I had for Kailan about her illness, um,
Mm,
if I didn't have that slight break between
yeah.
sessions. I
Yeah, I was curious. I was going to ask if you had that figured out last
No,
time or.
no. The first
Hmm.
time I was like, you know, it was going to be a straight,
Hmm.
like, oh, she's suffering from some sort of chronic disease that only just like started really kicking in. But then I was like, well, how can I tie it into a thing that I have not answered yet? And that's when I came up with it. And I'm like, oh, this could get bleak. You know, um, I said it
Hmm.
could be lighthearted or it could be bleak, and of course Rob chose bleak. But you know,
Yeah. It
that's
was like it
It
was
wasn't super
it
bleak.
wasn't
Yeah,
no, it
I
bleak.
mean,
wasn't well.
Yeah.
It's a little bit.
yeah,
I was
for
like,
sure.
did she
Yeah.
like give her soul to a demon or something? I was like, how like bleak we going? But yeah.
I mean,
Um,
I mean, I don't know if I could. Well, let's not say that, because it's like, you know, there probably will be a time that I play something really bleak and then it'll be shocking to everybody. And it's like I don't want to go that dark, because it's like if I go that dark, y'all coming down with me, and it
yeah,
ain't pretty.
yeah. I like I'm an energy matcher, so like I will just go down with you for
Yeah,
sure.
no,
Yeah.
no, you do not want to
I
go
mean,
down.
I
Yeah.
like leaning into the dark side of things, so that's
Yeah.
fine.
I
Like
do
I'm
too, but again, it's like you just don't want to lean so hard that
yeah.
everybody comes down and it's bad. I mean, even in horror games where you know nobody's going to survive, or you know,
Hmm.
you get lost
Mm.
like in Trophy Dark, there's still some sense of it's beautiful because you have that choice. If it's
Mm.
bleak
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
somebody brings it all down, that's no choice. That's no agency. So, yeah,
That's fair. Yeah.
yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
Sure.
just very susceptible to peer pressure. So like I guess like if we're all doing this, I guess I'll be part of it too. I don't
I
want to be
know,
left
right? It's
out.
like, oh, you're a lemming. It's like it's all fine.
Yeah.
You're all over the cliff. No.
Like I'm a story lemming. I'm just like I
Oh.
will.
But again, this was a great
Mhm.
byplay,
Yeah.
to be able to explore these characters. I mean, somewhat pre-gen, but not really. I mean, like, all the
Hmm.
different combinations of bonds that you can have with the different
Yeah.
characters, with the different choices. I mean,
Hmm.
there's more than just the three that we picked.
Yeah.
So this is a really good game to have a lot, obviously a lot of playability.
Yeah.
Wanting to play
Like,
somebody completely different from what we did last time.
mhm.
So that was pretty cool.
Yeah. It was really cool to see like because last time there definitely was like the classic like resentment like subconsciously for like the adventurers leaving all the time and we want them
Mm-hmm.
there. But
Yeah.
this time it was more like
Yeah, that's what they do.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it was
Which is
fine
really fun.
because, yeah,
Yeah.
I
So
liked the
yeah.
exploration of it for definite sure.
Mm-hmm.
So that's so stars to that. I mean, I'm trying to think of some I never can come up with specific moments because they kind of go in, yay, and then pass through my head.
Yeah, I really like how like Adair and Kailan like mirrored each other in their like choices. There's like I will take away my best friend's agency if it means it's for their own good. Kind of deal. It was really funny. And
And unfortunately or fortunately, all with good intention. I mean,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Um,
I will save you whether you like it or
like it or
not.
not, yeah. It's the whole thing.
Love it. Love
Yeah,
it.
it's really fun.
And then of course like just the byplay of like, I can't believe your brother's an ass and
Hmm.
and in the end, I mean like it is what we make of it. And I
Yeah.
just think it was a nice change up. So it wasn't
Hmm.
completely dark, but it wasn't completely like, oh, everybody's happy now. It's like, nah, kinda.
Yeah.
um, in their own way. So that
Yeah.
was cool. I mean,
I
wish
think.
again if you want to do this again, or if you want to like
Hmm.
flip the script and then go into like again the companion piece of like actually playing
Yeah.
the adventurers and then seeing like what their adventure is.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
have a
Yeah.
means to do that, which is
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. Don't we all have like so many games we're playing though in the next few weeks? I feel like I'm in a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
I've kind of
Well,
I've kind of two regular things and a
Yeah.
couple of
Yeah. Yeah.
one-offs, but yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, in the
that's
few.
enough. That's a busy schedule. I know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
it's always gonna be there. Oh, and I think just like it's a quick wish. I never like the only thing I wasn't able to reveal is how exactly Kailan like saved my life
Mm,
when I was little.
Mm-hmm.
It basically it would have just been um like Corbert and Quin got into trouble. Like Quin was the one who had to like beat the monster, but like in the process got very injured. But it just seemed like Corbert like was the one that saved him because he was the one that was more injured.
Right.
Um, Corbett didn't say anything because one, he's Corbett, but also he knew Quin would rather him the village think that he got saved.
Right.
And then like, and maybe that's like because we learned that like Adair, um, like had a thing for Quin that why kind of didn't like Corbett very much because like you could save everyone but not your own brother sort of deal. It was like a misunderstanding.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of like a fun thing also.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I,
yeah,
I I
I,
mean, I
that's,
totally believe that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think in terms of wishes, the thing that I figured out between sessions that I thought,
Mm-hmm.
okay, Adair's pregnant.
Yeah.
I like that because I was like, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I had no suspicion when you started mentioning. It's like, what's going on here? What?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, perfectly
And then
believable. But I mean, it just didn't even occur to me.
Mm-hmm.
and I was kind of trying to, or I was intending to lean into the prompt for the character, which is like, it's not clear whether she cares that much, whether Kane
Mm-hmm.
is around or not, and like to
Yeah.
say that she wasn't 100% sure it was his. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I was fully prepared for you.
We didn't really have an
Yeah.
opportunity. If we'd had like another set of scenes, I think that would have come out. But,
I was fully prepared for you to be like, what, like, this is your child, Quinn. And I'm like, as a story lemming, I would have went along with it.
that would have been pretty. That would have been a wild thing to throw on you.
Yeah.
Well, especially like with the reveal at
Yeah,
this
exactly.
end, it was like
yeah.
I mean, like she did want to be related to you. You know?
Yeah.
I like the drama, but I don't think I would throw that on somebody without asking their consent.
Oh yeah,
first.
that's a
yeah.
That's a.
But I was like, that was like a 5% chance. I was like, that might happen. But yeah, that was just like a slight thought when I realized what you were doing. And because we like work together a lot as like that's one wish. I would like to see like the first season of our like Breaking Bad season of us like figuring out we can sell drugs.
Oh yeah.
That's a good yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Such goofiness.
Yeah.
But I mean, and again, it's like it was lighthearted, but not so much that we like went into wacky territory, which this would not have been appropriate for it at all. So I mean, I think we maintained tone pretty much, and just you know, I mean, there was drama.
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. There's a Fiasco set for wacky fantasy adventures.
Never played it. I never played Fiasco.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No, I don't know that at all.
I mean,
yeah, Fiasco was fun. Yeah.
I've heard an actual play of it, and it descended into madness very quickly. And all I remember is that the actual play, like everybody was swearing pretty much every other word. And I know I swear a lot, but I don't think I could deal with listening to that for 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours. So
yeah, it depends. Fiasco is interesting. But yeah, there's like a fantasy like adventurer like set for Fiasco where that would be the one to do it. And it's interesting. So I might like put it up if you've all never played Fiasco.
No.
As story gamers, it's like one of the rites of passage to play Fiasco.
Okay, I'm you know me, sure. I'm up for it.
Yeah, at the very least, it's like one of the classics.
Must descend into madness. That's fine. Yeah. Well, I mean, so I am up for it, as I always am. It's just, as everything else, time.
Yeah, it's just time. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
just a trick, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So many games, so little time, and like that that table of yours in the section of my server is getting probably fairly large of games that we probably won't be able to get to because oh, somebody pay me so I can play games all day. Yes.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
That would be that is the dream.
That is always the dream. So, if there's nothing else, thank you again so much for joining me on this wonderful game and gameplay. And I mean, like everything else, it's like once we get to the editing, then it's like it'll go out into the world. But I mean, for right now, I mean, this was, as always, a pleasure. So,
likewise.
May we do it again sometime soon. But of course, as it is, a jumble.
Yeah. I think, see y'all at Morkborg, I guess.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Oh, in a couple of, like 2 weeks, yeah.
Paul, I will see you for Rosenwald. No, Rosenwald's first.
Is it? It's
Yeah.
on the
August 2nd.
Yeah,
August 2nd. And
then
Rob,
9th is...
Yeah, is the part 2.
Yeah.
And then you guys go off and play the Ghosts of El Paso. And then Rob,
well, I'll see you on
Thursday
for Iron Sworn.
Yep.
Yeah.
For Iron Sworn.
More
drama there. Yep. Oh god, so many games, so little fucking time. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful, gentlemen. Have a wonderful evening and such. So
you too.
I will see you next time.